Hi, welcome to Recap Cinema. Today I will recap the movie Top Gun Maverick. Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell steps inside an abandoned jet hangar where he appears to have been living. Maverick drives his motorbike to a base where he is scheduled to do his scramjet flight test, but he is informed that Rear Admiral Chester Kane is on his way to shut down the program and cancel the test scheduled for today. The entire crew is dismayed because all of their hard work will now be for nothing, and they inform Maverick that Kane wants their funding for his unmanned program. Maverick smiles as he stares at the plane. Maverick, undeterred, prepares for the test, takes the aircraft just as Kane arrives, and flies it into the sky. Kane comes to the control room and wants the jet to be brought down, but the team and Maverick pretend to be having communication issues. To the surprise of the team, Maverick exceeds its original Mach 9 prediction and reaches Mach 10. Maverick, on the other hand, attempts to take it faster and ends up wrecking the plane. He loses communication with the control room but ejects in time. From the crash site, he walks towards a roadside hotel, and the people who see him are really shocked. He asks a female waitress where he is, and a small boy replies Earth. He is taken back to the base where Kane shames Maverick for his conduct, but instead of grounding him, Kane informs him that he has been summoned back to NAS North Island by his former colleague, Admiral Tom Kazansky Iceman. Maverick arrives at the base, where he meets Vice Admiral Bo Cyclone Simpson and Rear Admiral Solomon Warlock Bates. Cyclone states unequivocally that he does not see in Maverick what Ice does, but he tells Maverick of the mission at hand. A renegade nation is running a uranium plant and the Pentagon wants it gone. Maverick observes the entire scenario and tells them that this mission is a very difficult one as there could be casualties, but he will do what he can to get it done. Bates tells Maverick that he needs to educate a fresh bunch of recruits on how to get there without detection, destroy the target, and get back. They don't want Maverick to fly, but to teach the new recruits, and this was the only way that he will be able to fly for the U.S. Air Force now. Maverick goes to a pub and sees Penny Benjamin, an ex-girlfriend he left a while ago, which irritated her Admiral father. They catch up on how long it has been since they last caught up. She has no ill will for Maverick, but she forces him to pay for a round for everyone at the bar. Maverick receives a text message from Iceman. He informs him that the kids are not ready, but Iceman informs him that this is the reason Maverick is here, and that if he would have told him this before, he would not have come. The fresh class of pilots is drinking at the same tavern. Among them is hotshot Jake Hangman Saracen, who believes he has the best chance of leading the incoming class. Netisha Phoenix Trace, Robert Bob Floyd, Ruben Payback Fitch, and Mickey Fanboy Garcia are also there. Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, son of Maverick's late closest buddy Goose, arrives seconds later. All the pilots gathered are the best there are in the Air Force, and they are wondering about the mission and who will be their teacher for the upcoming mission. Penny has Hangman and Payback jokingly push Maverick out after his card is declined. Outside, Maverick sees Rooster playing the piano and thinks about Goose, but he still feels guilty about Goose's death. He also sees all the other young pilots, and he knows that they are not ready for such a risky mission. The next day, Bates briefs the pilots as their new instructor comes in. Hangman and Payback are not much thrilled to see Maverick. Maverick meets with the pilots to introduce himself and discuss the operation. At first, he takes them to fly to check how good they really are. He wants them to perform a dogfight exercise with guns only. Maverick's plan to knock out the facility entails two jets destroying the entrance to the facility before attacking the base itself, due to its location deep at the bottom of the canyon. Some of the pilots, such as Hangman, are not on board. Rooster resents Maverick for withdrawing Rooster's application and delaying his career by 4 years. Maverick then continues with the dogfight drills with the pilots, demonstrating his ability to annoy the younger crew. Pilots who fail their workouts are compelled to perform push-ups. Maverick is giving the pilots a very tough time, and there is no one coming even close to taking him down in the exercise. The exercises are getting very dangerous, and Admiral Simpson has a word with Maverick and reminds him that he only has 3 weeks to get the job done. Hangman later finds Rooster's link to Maverick. Maverick returns to the bar to repay Penny what he owes her. There he meets her daughter Amelia, who is all grown up since their last encounter. Penny had plans with Amelia to get their boat to the yard, but Amelia tells her that she has a test the next day and will not be able to go. Maverick volunteers to help Penny with the boat. He then ends up spending the afternoon with her on her boat. Maverick takes Penny to her house to drop her, and there is definitely still chemistry between them. In the next scene, Maverick explains to the pilots in the next set of exercises how they may lose oxygen and awareness if they fly too high, and reminds them of how high and low they will need to travel when carrying out their mission, as they must avoid being detected by the SAMs and the radars. The Rooster is seen to take a more careful approach to fly during the activity. Maverick tells them that their F-8 is no match in a dogfight with the enemy's 5th-generation fighter crafts. As Maverick and Rooster argue about the mission, Hangman brings up Maverick's history with Goose, prompting Rooster to almost assault Hangman, but the other pilots separate them. Hangman taunts Rooster and tells everyone that Rooster is not going to be able to perform well in this mission and leaves the class, forcing Maverick to dismiss the class. Ice demands that Maverick pay him a visit. Maverick goes to his home to pay a visit. Here, Maverick learns from Ice's wife that he has throat cancer and naught can be done for him now. Even speaking is painful for him. He can only converse through a computer. Ice tells him that he wants to talk with him about work. Maverick shares his worries about working with Rooster, fearing the same thing happened to Goose. Ice tells him that there is still time to do this, and Maverick replies that the mission is in less than 3 weeks and the kids are not ready. Ice advises him that he must collaborate closely with Rooster. He tells him that it is time to let go of what happened with Goose. Maverick tells him that if he sends Rooster on this mission, there is a chance that he might not come back, and if he does not send him, then Rooster might not forgive him. Ice stands up and tries to talk with Maverick, telling him that the Navy needs him and the young pilots need him more than he thinks. That was the reason Ice was fighting for Maverick. Cyclone walks out onto the runway to see that no one is there. He discovers that Maverick invited the pilots to the beach to play football as a bonding exercise, which looks to be working because they are all having a good time. Maverick subsequently takes Penny out and tells her that he has withdrawn Rooster's application since his mother begged Maverick to watch after him before she died. The pilots are then put through a training exercise in which they must hit the target at a specific height and time. Everyone fails to finish the mission on time, leaving Phoenix with no choice but to eject before her plane crashes. Maverick criticizes Rooster for how he manages his workout, which leads to an argument about Maverick impeding Rooster's flying career. When Morlock enters to notify them that Ice has died, they are interrupted. Days later, a funeral is conducted for him, with Maverick, Penny, and the other pilots in attendance. Maverick's teaching responsibilities are taken over by Cyclone. When he suggests a different approach, the other pilots appear to be skeptical. Outside, the radars locate Maverick flying his aircraft to finish the practice, where he is able to fire at the ground target with seconds to spare, impressing all of the pilots, including Hangman. On the day of the mission, Maverick chooses Rooster as his wingman and is joined by Hangman, Phoenix, Fanboy, Payback, and Bob to complete the objective. They fly toward the facility, while their neighboring aircraft carrier launches Tomahawk missiles at the base to damage the runway, leading enemy planes to rush back toward the objective. They successfully launch a missile and destroy the facility, but the adversary dispatches additional pilots to pursue them. After a very tough mission, the pilots begin to return to base, but Maverick's plane is shot at, leading him to crash. As Maverick lies on the snow in enemy territory, Rooster turns around and heads to Maverick's aid. While Maverick is on foot, a chopper begins firing at him, but Rooster takes it down just as his own plane is fired down, but he manages to evacuate himself in time. After seeing the plane crash, Maverick runs towards Rooster's crash. Maverick and Rooster regroup and shouts at him that he should have been back on the carrier by now. They both argue for a while, and now they must develop a strategy to escape. They move towards the destroyed enemy airstrip, their main base, and decide to seize control of an F-14 Tomcat. This was the only aircraft at the airstrip available. They swiftly move towards it and get the engines started. The runway is very much destroyed, but they have no other options. They have to get the aircraft in the air. The aircraft takes off, nearly missing a building nearby. As soon as they get in the air, Rooster turns on his E-set. Back at the carrier, the control room catches the signals. They take off and are chased by enemy planes, resulting in a dogfight. The radar and the radio on the F-14 are not in working condition, making it hard for them to communicate with the ship. The enemy aircraft approaches them, and they pretend to be on their side, but fail to fool the enemy pilots. Although after a serious dogfight, Maverick manages to shoot out 2 of them with gunfire and flares, they run out of ammunition just as a third plane approaches. Rooster gets the radio on, and they are able to dodge 1 missile, but the enemy aircraft is circling back toward them. Rooster is also unable to extract himself as the ejection handle is also jammed, so the two accept their fate until Hangman arrives and smashes the remaining jet. Maverick and Rooster return to the ship, where they are congratulated by their crew. Rooster and Hangman have a newfound respect for one another, and Rooster regards Maverick in the same manner his father did. In Maverick's hangar, Rooster assists Maverick with repairs on a P-51 Mustang. Penny appears, and Maverick offers her a ride on his jet. Rooster places a photograph of himself and Maverick next to an older photograph of Maverick and Goose. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.